All right. Welcome back to the Green Logbook live stream. It's been a minute. It's been a minute, folks. Glad to be on here and sharing some good information with you all. And the topic of today, as you see up on the screen right above me, somewhere up here, is why veterans should start a podcast or YouTube channel in 2026. And I think I changed that a little bit before I got on here. It was veterans and podcasting, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I'm going to kind of lead you through all that stuff and let you know what the good is about having a podcast as a veteran or a YouTube channel and what's bad about it as well. So with that, I see a couple folks in the chat in the live stream. Welcome to the Green Logbook. Just share some good information on here. If you all have not been a part of the Green Logbook yet, essentially, I started this channel as a way to document my retirement from the United States Marine Corps, and that happened about 2 years ago. And since then, it's been starting to grow, and I've been connecting with a lot of folks and been going around and traveling. I live here in California. I've been traveling around California to check out what other veterans are doing in the veteran sphere, in the veteran community. And lately, it's been a lot of connections. I've been super busy. I wish I would have been able to do more live streams, but I've been kind of stepping out of my studio here in my office a little bit more and just getting things done. Yesterday, it was I had a meeting. Drove up to the beach side here, just shy of reaching Camp Pendleton area, and met up with this retired Navy SEAL who is doing some incredible things with veterans and has some incredible plans for the veteran community, for the VFW. So definitely looking forward to that. And I would not have been able to meet a lot of these folks if it wasn't for what I'm doing here on the Green Logbook and even on the Military Retirement Podcast, as some of you are joining me here from. So totally thankful for that. Been able to connect with, I don't know if you've seen a short I put out there. I'm still getting all the editing done with this retired Green Beret, which is super cool dude. Connected with this guy on LinkedIn. You know, we share some of the same networks, and yeah, awesome guy. The good part of it is having a podcast, having a YouTube channel as a veteran, is that you have an experience. You have things to talk about, right? It doesn't matter if you were an admin guy. It doesn't matter if you're a logistics person or whatever. It doesn't matter if you were infantry grunt, whatever it is. You have a story to tell. You've gone through leadership and training, and you are able to walk other people who have not had those experiences through your life experiences. So that is one of the great things about it. Okay, you've been through the missions, you've been through the briefs and all that stuff. You can talk to folks about it. Oh man, I got a low battery thing on my headphone here. I might have to just switch them out here really quick. Going to the comments. 66 T Love. Hey, good to see you on here again. Awesome, great to have you. Oh, nice. So I'm doing the vertical live stream and the regular live stream, and the other one shows up above my head while the other one shows up on the screen. Very cool. So yeah, I would not have been able to meet with a lot of these folks if it wasn't for the outlets I have. I would not have been able to lock on sponsorships to the channel like I have if it wasn't for these outlets, right? If it wasn't for these connections and things. And not like I was an incredible person or anything like that. Not like I not like I did like incredible things or anything while in uniform. You know, I'm proud of my service and glad of what I did with what I did. Proud of the people I served to the left and right of, and all that good stuff. But I learned a lot, you know, through reading, through leaders, through good leadership, through bad leadership, and you kind of concoct your own type of leadership through that. So been able to touch on that and talk about it and explore it a little bit more as I go through the whole channel process. So that has been awesome. Been able to connect with a lot of folks. A lot of people message me from LinkedIn, even Facebook and things like that. Though I'm barely on Facebook. I only usually go on there to accept folks into the military retirement group. If you've not heard about that, it's a group that I started on Facebook probably about a year or two ago, and just covering all the stuff that I learned going from military to civilian, retiring from the United States Marine Corps, and joining the civilian ranks. and walking into a government contractor position with Surface Warfighting Development Center. So that was an experience. I talk a lot about what things I didn't learn through the TAPS process, through the TRS process, right? Some folks know it as TRS, and it's kind of incredible the things that they miss on there. So I went out and did my own research and started covering all that stuff on the channel, and that's how it started growing. So essentially, starting a podcast, starting a YouTube channel as a veteran, it not only gives you a voice, but it also, I mean, you already have a voice. It gives you a chance to actually get out there and teach those lessons that you've learned to the masses. People want to hear what you have to say. And funny enough, what things I thought were kind of obvious weren't actually obvious. Like they were obvious to me, or maybe because I've done the research, they weren't actually obvious to the masses. And a lot of folks reach out. You know, I share my email. I got my website, thegreenlogbook@gmail.com. The amount of comments, the amount of emails I get through that is kind of incredible. Ask me questions about VRD because I'm going through the VRD process. Ask me questions about Chapter 35. Ask me questions about all the stuff that I've learned, all the stuff that I covered on the channel. So being a source is awesome. Going real quick to the comments here. The question was, hey, do retired military get any commission for bringing someone to a recruitment building and they sign up? Oh, not that I know of. I mean, you get the you get the honor of knowing you did the right thing and bringing somebody to the recruiting office, I suppose. I've not seen or heard of anything like that. I know there's like a bonus when you are like on recruiting leave or whatever, the 10 days of boot camp leave after you go to boot camp, you get somebody to join. Shit, even if you got somebody to join after the fact, you may get a little something while in uniform. But I've not heard anything from the retirement side. I haven't come across anything. I live not too far from a recruiting station. I think a lot of us do, so I can stop by and ask them. That's a great question. I don't know what the incentive is. Maybe they give you a little swag bag or something with a bunch of Semper Fi stickers or your branch of choice. I have no idea, but excellent question. I'm glad you brought that up. And it was, I'm not pronouncing this right, Mordred Hoper, I think, 6407. Thank you for the question. Navy Cop on the line, man. Good to have you, dude. Awesome, man. It's always a good time seeing you, man. Watching from work. Glad you are. That's great. Navy Cop. If you haven't heard of Navy Cop, he's always on the channel. He runs buddycheckproject.org. buddycheckproject.org. Definitely check it out, man. It is a resource, a huge resource for veterans out there who are looking to get the word out about their organizations, who are looking to connect, who are looking to find out other podcasts or a reading list or what next to put on the reading list. Very good stuff. buddycheckproject.org. And if it's .com, please correct me, Navy Cop. I believe it's .org. Let me know. As I normally do on these live streams, I will share this. Let me see. Let me paste it up here. So what I like to do here is I got my coffee here. Coffee sponsored by, this time, Wild Bill's Craft Beverage Company. You know, the sticker kind of looks a little odd there, but whatever. Big ups to them. They're one of the sponsors of the shows. And as I normally do, I'll put up the link here. If anybody wants to jump on the live stream and talk about what they have going on, maybe you want to start your own YouTube channel or podcast and you're wondering where to start, what to do, things like that. Hey, I've been there, I've done that, learn from my mistakes. I will gladly tell you what they are and guide you along the way. I firmly believe that veterans out there have a voice, and it's starting this has been something of a therapeutic thing for me, being able to connect with other veterans, being able to share stories and build that camaraderie. It really does have a therapeutic feel to it. So I'll share this on the live stream here. Jump on the live stream. Yeah, jump on here and let's talk a little bit about what you got going on today, this week, this year, your goals, plans, etc. YouTube, podcast, things like that. So I'll give you some insight here. So I've been running this YouTube channel. Mind you, it's got what, like 9,000 subscribers or something like that. I've been running this YouTube channel for probably about 2 years. I retired from the Marine Corps 2 years ago, running this YouTube channel to cover everything about my military to civilian transition, my process. And from there, it kind of grew a little bit into something else I did not realize. I started connecting with other veterans, started connecting with brands, and building something a little bit bigger. And through it all, I found that yeah, it gives you a voice, but it's also like having a second job, right? Like on top of your other job, I guess a third job if you have another job, right? And I do some work from home, and I do consulting and things like that. So I have another thing that I do on top of this, but this definitely can take a lot of your time if you're looking to start a YouTube channel. Now, if you're fully retired and maybe like you're in your 60s and retired, or maybe you just did 20 years in the Marine Corps, 20 plus years in the military, and you want to start something else like a YouTube channel or podcast, hey, you got the time. You got the time for it, and potentially the money, because you don't have to start big, but after a while, you're going to want to upgrade. You're going to get gas. It's called gas. It's gear acquisition syndrome, I think they call it. So you're going to want to buy more stuff. You're going to want to add little cameras to your, arsenal, things like that. But in reality, this is really all you need to start something. You can live stream off this. You can do anything. This is a little computer in your pocket. You can do all that stuff. But the good thing about starting a podcast, the good thing about starting a YouTube channel is you can connect with other veterans. You can share your story. You don't have to sit in a studio like this. You can do walk and talks. I've done it before. I've tried it before. You can walk down the park. Now, it does seem a little weird sometimes when you're holding your camera up like this and you're talking here and you're walking by people and they're looking at you. It gets weird a little bit, but you got to get into the mindset of, excuse my language, no fucks given. Just you're doing it for you. You're sharing your story. Somebody walking the dog, whatever, they're going to forget about you 2 seconds later. Continue doing what you're doing. So definitely a therapeutic process, man. And I've been able to connect with a lot of folks on here. Let me see. Jason Mac McCullough. Okay. Let's see what we've got here. Back from the VA dentist. I have dentures now. Well, as long as you can eat, dude, and chew. Awesome. Congratulations, man. Let's see what we got here. Open this thing up. Where are we at? Okay. Battery's going low on this one. It keeps telling me low battery, but we'll change them out. No worries. But yeah, big things that I wrote down that are huge for building a podcast as a veteran, for building a YouTube channel as a veteran. And it does not have to be a face YouTube channel, or a podcast. If you do a podcast, all you need is a microphone, good audio over video any day. Because if the audio sucks and the video is awesome, then people are going to want to hear it, but they're not going to excuse that crappy audio. So definitely invest in a good microphone. And shoot, even starting out, one of those like Apple mics or whatever, or even the headphones, those things work just fine. Let me see here. The consistency. Okay, let's talk about consistency here. Okay, which I feel like I've fallen off a little bit on that because I've had a whole lot going on. My schedule's been pretty full, traveling around a little bit. But consistency is the key here, as is with anything, right? We've seen like workout programs and stuff like that. If you're not consistent with them, if you're not constantly doing them, you're not going to see results. Things are not going to happen. You're not going to lose weight. You're not going to build muscle, etc. Same thing with YouTube and podcasting. It's never going to grow unless you actually are consistent with it. Let's see here. Thank you very much, Lolly Sean 6846. Appreciate it. And yeah, so all right, so let's talk about this one. Translating stuff into clarity. You take chaos and translate it into clarity. This is huge, right? I'm big on Barney style, right? Explaining things in Barney style. I don't like it I never liked it when I was in uniform and people are just explaining things at high tier levels. And I'm like, okay, give it to me in layman's terms, man. Unless we're doing like an intel brief, then I'll jot stuff down and we go back and we talk about it after the fact. Uh, but and I'll also ask him to explain it. But the thing is, Barney style, man, we turn chaos into clarity, right? As veterans, we want things at the lowest level, easiest to understand, and that's huge with the veteran podcasting or veteran YouTubing, right? Veterans who want to do that. We already know how to do it. We know how to explain things at the lowest level, and that serves well with younger viewers these days. Folks who are trying to navigate there. If your channel is something like military centered, folks want to be able to navigate it at the simplest levels. So if your audience is junior service members, they're going to appreciate that. And I'll be honest, I don't post much on Instagram, but when I do, people message, people like it, whatever. Hey, good stuff, good explanation. That's why I do like the quick, short stuff. I try to not dumb it down, but I try to dissect it as simple as possible, especially when it comes to like legislation and all that stuff that I'm reading. Try to dissect it as simple as possible and make like a short snippet of it. I know there's other YouTubers out there and people have commented on my videos. Man, what you did in like 5 minutes, other YouTubers have taken 20 minutes to explain this. Well, I understand that. And you have to understand that the reason why they're doing it in like 20-minute increments to explain one little thing is because of the algorithm. The algorithm, and for the clicks, right? For the views. Obviously, if you're monetized, YouTube will pay you more for the more times people watch it or the longer they stay on your channel, right? So understand that. So when you see something that could be explained in maybe a minute or two, yeah, and it's dragged out into like a 20-minute segment or 10-minute segment, and it shouldn't be. It's for the views. So understand that. But as veterans, as former military service members, or even if you're in uniform, understand that we are able to give that clarity at the lowest level, Barney style, as I like to call it. Another great thing about starting a YouTube channel or podcast while you are, as a veteran or even as a service member, is building community, which is what I'm encountering now. I mean, we can ask Navy Cop on here. He comes on all the time. He's part of the Green Logbook community here. So content, right? You put out relatable content, things that are happening these days. It doesn't have to be all political because that tends to be the thing that's big on YouTube right now. It doesn't have to be. You can talk about stories. You could talk, if you're a good storyteller, that's huge. Story. There's a reason why companies pay big bucks for storytelling. When's the last time you watched a car commercial? Maybe everything has commercials these days, right? Hulu, Netflix, or whatever. You watch like a car commercial and it like gets kind of like, it gives you that emotional feeling. That's a storytelling, right? It engages you and it sucks you in. So there's a reason why companies pay big bucks for that. If you're a storyteller, you'll do well. Let's see here. Oh man, these comments are off the hook, man. I have a very feminine voice and I'm losing my hair. I am losing my hair. Right? That's called, aging and stress. Yeah. Good times. This dumb boot can't read, of course. Well, they got, we got courses for that. We can get you in. Let's see. Navy Cop. Had someone create a voice only podcast intro. So getting ready to produce something. Hell yeah, dude. All right. Let's get this dude off. All right. Yes. 66T Love. Keep it simple. Yes, absolutely. We all know the acronym, right? Keep it simple. And then whatever the other S stands for. Silly, stupid, whatever, but whatever. Let's see. Let's revisit this one. Navy Cop had someone create a voice only podcast intro. So getting ready to produce something. So question is, are you doing the voice only podcast or are you producing the intro? Question for you, Navy Cop. Tony Slaughter says Space A to Turkey. That's awesome, man. Are you going Space A to Turkey or are you about to go, or are you like researching that? How I don't know if they have Space Ace directly to Turkey. I think you have to go somewhere else and then maybe take a commercial flight or a train somewhere. Uh, if you do, check out Ebby Travels, EBIE travels.com, and use code green logbook in all caps. And that dude created an awesome Space A app. Check it out. Biggest thing is getting used to hearing your own voice. I hate hearing me. Yeah, that sucks. And at first, just kind of getting all the cobwebs out, uh, hearing my own voice, it sounds different when you hear it, right? And I hated hearing mine at first. Shit, I hate seeing myself sometimes. I'm like, damn, Vic, you freaking since you retired, you freaking put on a little bit of weight. Well, yeah, man, it happens, right? We work on it. But the thing is, if you let that stuff hinder you and you hold that over your own head, you're never going to get past it. You just got to push through it. Hey, it is what it is. This is your voice. This is what people are hearing. Whatever, move through it. But yeah, I mean, it's something we do have to get over. Oh, okay. Hell yeah, man. Do the podcast, connect with the community, man. Share your story, dude. It's so, uh, I don't know how to explain it. I guess I could explain it this way. It's a form of therapy. It is getting, sharing stories, sharing your experiences, having researched something and putting it out there for other people, knowing that it has helped you and you are potentially helping them is amazing. It's an amazing feeling. Do the podcast, dude. That's awesome. I applaud you for that. Another thing about the podcasting and another thing about the YouTube thing is once your YouTube, once it starts getting monetized, once your YouTube starts getting monetized, you're in a whole different playing field there, man. You don't lose track of what you're doing. Don't lose track of your mission or any of that stuff. Just move forward with it. Continue doing what you're doing for your audience, right? But the good thing is that you control the narrative. You control where the podcast goes, depending, of course, if your audience wants to hear something about whatever. A while back, somebody mentioned VRNE, so I made a video on VRNE. It caused me to kind of step out of my comfort zone, if you will. It's not really a comfort zone, but it's caused me to step out and start reviewing these things. Shit, it made me smarter, right? So you control the narrative instead of being just in the office or whatever. You become the person who teaches online, who leads online, who entertains online on your terms. Nobody's telling you what you can and can't do as long as you fall within the constraints of YouTube's policies. All right, go. Okay, that's an interesting screen name there. I like that. That's funny. Therapy, only thing I need therapy for. Sensitive people. Yeah, well, I mean, they're out there. You gotta learn to navigate it, man. If you don't adjust, it's never gonna work out. I am in good standing with my federal case for PFAS. Remind me again what PFAS is, Tony Slaughter. I don't recall what that is. Just reading your comment on here. So right now, like for instance, we're building up the military retirement podcast. You may be tuning in from the military retirement podcast. Actually, there's a few of you tuning in from that side. Uh, I also run the Green Logbook YouTube channel. So the military retirement podcast is simply a place for my co-host John and I. John lives over in Italy. He's got a daytime job and all that stuff, so he's got an office job, should I say, so he can't really make it all the time on here. And that's completely fine. So we're building up the military retirement podcast because that is where we want to share stories of people's journeys, right? I'm building up the Green Logbook because that's where I want to be able to teach things that I'm encountering as I'm going through the whole military to civilian process. I've been retired for 2 years. The stuff doesn't end, right? You've served for 20 plus years in uniform. You've kind of conformed. You change your way of thinking a little bit. Then you got to figure out how to function effectively uh, in the civilian world, which is not easy to do sometimes, depending on who you are and what you're about. Let's see here. Forever Chemicals. I got you, Tony Slaughter. I got you. Thank you for clarifying that. 66T Love. I don't know if I could do it. Too many keyboard warriors out there that would just set me off. Yes, there are a lot of keyboard warriors. And I mean, I get some weird comments sometimes. I mean, I had to take the dude off with the hair or whatever the hell the comment was. Um, there are some weird ones out there. I've gotten some weird emails, some weird comments. Just got to let that roll off your shoulder. They don't know you. You don't know them. You know, you can't give them the time of day. I'm not letting somebody else control me, control my anger, my stress levels, whatever. When I get those emails, I don't know. At this point, I just laugh it off. I'm like, okay, freaking joker. But what are you gonna do? What are they gonna do? So just gotta roll with it. I mean, there's a lot of keyboard warriors out there. None you can really do about it. Let's see. Don't worry, 66. The screen separates you all. You could clown them if they say something. Yeah, you could. You could. I was reading, or I was watching this guy's live stream not too long ago. I forgot the guy's name. And somebody had put something on the comments on there, and the dude on the live stream gave out his address. He's like, please come to my house and do something. I wouldn't recommend that because you don't know who is out there. I wouldn't recommend that at all. However, I mean, there is a screen between you all. You have keyboard warriors. Just let it roll off your shoulder. It's no big deal. You deal with it. I mean, there's people like that. There's always going to be people like that who don't have much going on in life. Maybe they're also afraid of starting a YouTube channel, so they just kind of hide behind some kind of screen name. Don't worry about it. Let's see. Another good thing about starting your own YouTube and podcast channel, once you start growing it and become consistent with it and show that you have an audience who cares and show that you are a genuine, authentic person. Another great thing is people will reach out to you about potentially speaking or giving courses or classes on it. All right. So that becomes a way to give yourself the evidence that you are in the right direction. When people reach out to you and say, hey, I like what you're doing. Can you come do this? Come meet with folks, come give this class, etc. And then that opens up to things like consulting, to speaking, partnerships, and potentially jobs, things like that. And I will give you an example. I'll give you a few examples if you'd like. Since I started this channel, I've been met with people who have wanted me to come and speak, like virtually, right? One was in person, and then a few of them virtually, because I talk a lot about military to civilian transition. And a real quick shout out to Raider HQ, man. Good having you on here, Raider. Just talking about why it's a good idea for veterans to start a podcast in 2026 or a YouTube channel. And so been met with potentially speaking gigs, both paid and unpaid, right? The unpaid ones usually come from like the nonprofits who don't have a lot or anything like that, but they want to get into a certain arena. And that's cool. You got to support everybody. If your budget, if your time allows, support who you can. But that also has led to consulting. I do some consulting on the side when I can. I'm only available like twice a week on certain hours, but hey, you know what? People book that, and that's cool. We talk a lot about military to civilian transition. We talk a lot about, like I mentioned, Chapter 35. We talk a lot about VRE, Veterans Readiness and Employment, which a lot of people don't realize that they rate. We talk about the Rudisill decision, which gives you an extra 12 months on top of your GI Bill, which people, again, don't realize. It's all in the VA. I mean, this Rudy Sill decision was what, April 2025 that they passed this. So you will be met, as long as you are authentic, you will be met with folks who want to connect with you, who want you in front of their audience because you give out some good information. Another great reason why veterans should start a podcast in 2026. We talked a little bit about it. It's therapeutic. It can be therapeutic sometimes, unless you encounter folks like 66 T Love mentioned, folks who are the keyboard warriors, right? But it can be therapeutic. Sharing stories, not just your stories, but connecting with folks, sharing their stories, having them come on your podcast, on your YouTube channel, whatever, can be therapeutic. I mean, it's not guaranteed that it's going to be therapeutic. You just have to, and that's the beauty of it. You kind of help them navigate the conversation. Here, real quick, let me add this on here. See a few folks jumping on there. Okay, if anybody wants, feel free to jump on the live stream. I put the link in the comments there. Excuse me. Feel free to jump on the live stream. Let's talk about why you're looking to start a YouTube channel or a podcast, or if you have a YouTube channel and podcast and you want to talk about best practices, what you've learned along the way, maybe your successes and your failures along the way, let me know. Let it be known. Help the masses out who maybe who are on the fence about starting their podcast journey, their YouTube journey, and they just need that little nudge, right, to get over that fence and actually press record. It took me a while too. For the longest time, while I was in uniform, I was a Chief Warrant Officer 3 in uniform. For the longest time, I thought I did not want to be in front of the camera because I did not want my junior Marines finding me online. It's something about it, something about being a leader and then being online. I hated it. Oh, we got Raider HQ on the line here. Raider, what's going on, man?
Not much, nothing much. How you doing?
Oh, you might be on mute, man. I can't hear you. Give me a second.
Hold on. Can you hear me now?
Edit these mics. These mic automatically just mic.
Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello.
All right. I hear you now. That was my bad. That was on my
No,
end.
it's all right.
It was my little earbud. One of them ran out of battery, and I didn't realize because it didn't tell me anything. So yeah, man. Today it's all about the YouTube channel, the podcast stuff. Why veterans should start one. Curious your thoughts, man. For me, it's been therapeutic.
Well, obviously I do a faceless channel, right? So for me, it's therapeutic within the boundaries that I've set, right? And that's one of the things that I would say is, if you're going to start a YouTube channel, have realistic expectations, but also set boundaries for yourself. Because 66 T Love said, there are a lot of mean people on the internet. I don't know if you all know that, but there are a lot of mean people on the internet. Like I have gotten... And you got to have kind of an emotional resiliency. So it's like with anything, if you leave your house and go to the store, you might have a good time, you might have a bad time. But in terms of like my channel is more of a TED Talk type thing, I go deep into, a very specific niche thing. But there are a lot of times whenever I just watch people, like I'm a YouTube connoisseur. I do partake in it. Like I watch your channel and whatnot. There are so many different things out there, and a lot of people never start the channel because they think, well, I'm not an expert. I don't work for the VA. I don't do all this stuff. Who would want to hear me? You don't know until you try. You make none of the shots you never take,
Right.
So
right. Is anybody really an expert in anything? I mean, a lot of us, half the time when somebody asks me something, I have to go and look up the reference. So I'm like, am I really the expert? Like, I don't know it off the top of my head, but it causes me to expand my mind a little bit by going in and actually look at the USC or the CFR or whatever it is.
Yeah, and I believe that experts are people who do look things up, that do not
Mhm.
rely on complacency. Like people that are like, "Oh yeah, I know the answer to that." That's not an expert to me. Somebody that double checks themselves and the pursuit of truth is more important to them than it is to be right. I like that.
Right. Yeah, yeah, and you don't change your mind, but it's as long as you are constantly evolving and hearing different perspectives and figuring it out and researching, I think that's on the path to becoming an expert. I think you can't
Yeah.
just stay stagnant. I'm curious about maybe any successes and failures you might have had, because I know you recently came up with the channel not too long ago, but it's grown significantly and for a good reason because you give out good information. But I'm curious about any kind of walls you might have hit, successes and failures that you've had with your channel.
Well, the successes are like, I don't know, you can break it down to the support. Like if you
Mhm.
want to talk about like overwhelming support for the channel has been great. I mean, that's an ego booster and it's something I've got to keep in check. I've got to continue to stay humble because, people watch your content. And if you don't remember why you're doing your content, or, if you get a big head, then you can push people away. So it's
Yeah.
constantly at the back of my mind. But some of the successes that I've had, got monetized relatively quickly, actually. It was very weird. So the monetization can be hit or miss. It's not, you're not going to become a millionaire, but I do, it's kind of a nice thing. Some of the drawbacks, I've put limitations on my channel. I refuse, like you were talked about, like the partnerships, sponsorships, things like that.
Yeah.
This is just me personally, but I've restricted myself from almost absolutely every single one of those things. So I do not
Mhm.
make, I guess we want to talk about money, like I've restricted the amount of money that I can humanly make. And whenever I say I've restricted it, I have restricted probably a 5-figure amount of restrictions on it,
Mhm.
um, a month type thing. And it's
Yeah.
insanity. Um, but results may vary, unfortunately. That's not everybody's going to start a channel and it's going to take off, but if you just have lower expectations about it, you know I like it. I didn't like it starting out. If you go watch some of my first videos, I'm like, and then I'm sitting here, I'm like, I like just
I think
talking like a
I think we're
weirdo.
we're all like that, man. I think we all
Yeah.
start out like that. I'm the same way.
Yeah. But especially if it's like a veteran channel,
Mhm.
networking, and I put that in the chat. Networking's been one of the things that I've been trying to promote. Like I'll watch people's channels and I'll promote them as long as they're good actors in the community. I'm very pro
Mhm.
veteran, very focused on veteran channels. If you just get out there and just say, "Hey, look, this is my opinion. I want to talk about it." I'll watch your channel. I'll support your channel. Like we'll get other people liking you. Like H Town Vet. Me and H Town Vet.
Mhm.
We're
Yeah,
he gets
great guy.
weirded out. Yeah, he gets weirded out because he's like, "You're bigger than I am. Why are you coming down?" I'm like, "Because that's not what I'm about." I don't know. I'm just
Mhm.
rambling. Sorry, man.
No, no, all good. No, these are all good nuggets, man. And I like that you brought that up when you first start out, and then kind of a little bit nervous, things like that. Maybe you don't like the sound of your own voice. I mean, you yourself are more of a voice podcast channel, but
Yeah.
I think it was Navy Cop who mentioned on there he doesn't want to start something, or he's been on the fence because he doesn't like the sound of his own voice, and that's a real thing. We may not like it. We sound different, from what we hear in our own heads. Uh, but I'll tell you, when I first started doing these live streams, I've not done many live streams before this year.
Yeah.
And dude, when it kind of hits hard when you're talking to zero people, like nobody's up there. And it's like, what am I doing here? I'm talking to myself, and you got to put the reps in, right? Because some
Yeah.
channels are smaller. I was smaller back then, and it took time for folks to kind of realize, okay, this guy is making some sort of sense. Maybe not all the time, but let's see what he's got. And people come
Yeah.
back. People come back. So it takes some time. Don't get don't get down on yourself if you're a smaller channel. And I'm talking like a bigger channel, right? Like if you're like in the hundreds, maybe don't get
Well,
down
for
because it'll
our
happen.
for our niche though, right? Like if you're one
Mhm.
of those YouTube channels where you're going to go out and you're going to go prank somebody and do some stupid stuff, and you're going to go out there and like go sleep in a Walmart or something. Yeah, 9,000, 11,000 are not that many, but in our demographic, 1,000 is a lot of people. Like
Yeah,
it's hard to gather the attention of the veteran community. It really can be. So diversification's another thing, like where
it is.
how you go about putting your channel out there. But it's like with anything else. If you're going to start a business, right? You need a business plan. You need a focus, a direction. What am I going to be doing?
Yeah.
So that's another thing I think that because I had the spiritual wrestler as a Raider podcast or Raider YouTuber. I watched his channels and he's the one that turned me on to going share the wealth, share the information because there's so many veterans that like there's a disconnect between how much like where what we think we know and how the system really works.
Hmm.
So and that's why I started my channel. So I had a very goal oriented reason for starting my channel.
Yeah, and it's been great. I mean, I've listened to it. I've heard some great stuff on it. I've it I tend to kind of steer away from too many of the was it the
The rants.
not the rating no not the rants not the rating channels either, the ones who
Oh,
talk about via disability stuff, because I've got my via disability. I have no desire to go up and search
yeah.
for more or anything like that, so I'm like, okay, I'm good with what I have. And a
Yeah.
lot of the emails, a lot of the questions that I get on the comments too are like, hey, what if I'm seeking this? What if I have this? I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm probably not the best person to ask because I've not researched that in depth. However, you may want to check out Raider HQ, so it's kind of like,
Yeah.
hey, I know somebody who knows something that I don't. Raider
Yeah.
HQ, Civ Div, or these other guys.
Yeah. And you can't please all the people all the time. Like you cannot make your
That's right.
channel about everything. If you do, then you will please no one. Right.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you can expand out. You can see what works, see what doesn't work, do a little probing into because
Mhm.
let me tell you, YouTube will tell you that didn't work. Like it will inform
They
you
will. They
that,
will. Yes.
I don't know.
They will show your video to no one, and then
Yes.
you'll be somewhere you don't want to be. So I'm curious, man, Raider, and I don't know what else to call you. I'll just call you
That's
Raider.
fine. Yeah.
Um, what's your background, man? Like, did you, without getting into too much that you don't want to get into, like,
Oh,
were you like, what branch did you serve in, if you served?
I'm gonna keep it to the Army. 68
Yeah.
Papa radiology tech. I was a radiology tech, and then I ended up doing a full contract. And then I got out. I
Mhm.
got out on a med board because I was injured in the service, and ended up working as a radiology tech out in the civilian world. Liked it. It was great until my disability started preventing me from doing it. So I had to go back into vocational rehabilitation. They trained me to be a social worker. And then I worked at the VHA for a while, providing mental health therapy to veterans. And then didn't like being stabbed and didn't like being, like assaulted physically. And then said,
Oh, wow.
it's a little too much for me. Like I can't,
Yeah.
defend myself that well anymore because I'm disabled, so I just don't want to do that anymore. So then I decided to go into the VBA and
Mhm.
then worked as a VSR and then transitioned into a Raider and then, into retirement. So that's kind of where I am. But so a lot of different hats I've worn over the years whenever it comes to like starting over in a different job but still with a focus about helping veterans. It's always
Of
been
course.
like that.
So
So
that's a hell of a journey, man. I have to tell you, as a social worker, all that stuff I had no idea that social workers dealt with stuff like that.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. It depends on if
Yeah.
you're in well, I mean, if you're in BHIP, like or PCMHI where you're dealing with like you're on site, there's police the VA police there and whatnot.
Mhm.
Those frequency of that stuff. But if you ever worked in HUD Vash, you're going under bridges trying to find homeless veterans and stuff.
Oh yeah.
You're coming in looking like a FBI agent, khakis because they have a business casual type requirement for social workers. You can't dress in jeans or anything like that, like you should be
Yeah.
able to do. But and it depends if you're in a rural area or if you're in a deeply, like LA or something like that. You go walking around out on the streets, obviously you have, the
Mhm.
potential for shenanigans to happen.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Especially in LA. I've walked there many
Yeah.
times. There's a reason why I don't like to go there too often. I'm only a few
But I
hours
mean,
from there, but
yeah, I've been shot at. I've been like never as in the VBA, but in the VHA, I've been shot at before. I've a lot of weird stuff. Like I've had the SWAT team get involved. The whole bunch of stuff, like really, really interesting things. Which, I mean, if you're kind of an adrenaline junkie from the military, that kind of stuff is fine for you. You're like, yeah, okay, I lived, type thing. But
yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. That's just my thing.
I was just talking to somebody yesterday about about the adrenaline thing
Mhm.
and how this gentleman had he's been in combat situations and he's overcome all that, but he still seeks out that adrenaline, and it's taken him a lot to kind of pull back a little bit and not for instance, if you're in Walmart and
Yeah.
somebody looks at you the wrong way, it takes a lot. It's taken a lot for this gentleman to not approach that person about that. And and I'm glad, because that's not the way we should function. But through like the PTSD and all that stuff that he has, he's been able to work that down a little bit. So that's a real thing, man.
Oh, it is. And
Yeah. The adrenaline. So how long you've been doing the channel for a year? Less than a
I
year?
started in August.
Oh wow. Okay. So wow, that's grown a lot.
Yeah.
So aside from that, I mean, it's you and a microphone. Like obviously there's no camera
Two
there.
monitors. Yeah, two monitors
Two mo-
and yeah.
And in living room. That I mean, it's
I have
when
a
I go back
studio,
and think, you have a studio? Okay.
Yeah.
So when I go back to it, I think about, should I have gone that route as well? Because I used to do a podcast and it worked out pretty well. This was years ago. And I thought, you know what, let me put myself on video. And then when I started doing that, I kind of kicked myself in the ass a little bit. Like, should I just keep going with it? Should I stop? Because there is a certain weirdness to it, to putting yourself out on video. And
Oh yeah.
like, for instance, I went to the library on base. I live near a base. I went to the library and this gentleman approached me and said, hey, your stuff helped me through my military to civilian transition. And he didn't start out like that. He started out with, hey, I got 100%. And I looked at him, I go,
like, what are
like,
you?
what? Yeah, exactly. Like, what are you talking about? Congratulations. He's like, no, I mean, like, I saw your stuff on YouTube, right? And you talked a little bit about this and that, military civilian transition, awesome stuff, man. I'm like, that's cool. But also I was kind of like little weirded out at first, like, oh, this guy like has seen me online and stuff. But then again, I put myself out there, so it's expected,
Yeah, and that's something that I could not do. I'm not going to lie to you. I couldn't do it.
Mhm.
My anxiety disorder, and whenever I say I have an anxiety disorder, I really mean it. Like I can't, like I made I made a statement that I was going to go to the Military Influencers Conference in September,
In
and
Tampa.
I'm going to go. Yep, I'm going to
Yeah.
go.
I
I'm
might
not
see
going to
you there.
show it. You won't know it's me.
Oh no, come on now.
I might come up to you.
Tell
just
one or two people.
secretly. Yeah, I might tell one or two people, but I'm gonna have to be better living through chemistry. Like, no joke. It's gonna be very, very challenging to do that for me because
Yeah.
it's not like I'm serious. Like I suffer from agoraphobia. So a lot of people think that that means that you have to stay within your house, and it does for the most part. But you can leave. It's just you have an irrational fear of people attacking you, of of things, like just
Yeah.
think about the most irrational thing, and you
Mhm.
have safe places. Like I have safe places, like my car. I can be in my car because I can always leave a situation. Um, but yeah, it's kind of weird. So I'm hoping to do
Yeah.
that.
That would be awesome, man. I mean, I completely understand what you mean. Just you have the safe space. For me, it happens to be in my office. I just made it that way, kind of like I was going for like dark academia type of thing, right? But
Yeah.
I don't know. But I find that I'm very much myself an introvert, right? I
Oh,
always
okay.
have been, but I have this thing where it's like a switch and I can turn it on, but it drains my battery very quickly. And like social settings, I used to be a big party animal back in my younger Marine Corps days, and for some reason, it has kind of like I don't know where it went from like a 10 to a freaking 2 now. I'm just so
Yeah.
chill. I just want to be in the house, right? Or on a walk or something. Um, but yeah, it's I think, and I've seen many YouTube channels about this, that YouTube or even podcasts are huge with introverts who want to
Yeah.
connect with communities, you know?
Yeah. I just because the irrational fears and just because of how my background in social work and my background of having, people slash my tires before and things like that, like I've
Yeah.
seen the darker side of, you know, people having a fixed delusion about you or whatever. Think about the most negative thing. That's where
Mhm.
my caution stems from. But if I was to say, like, going back to your, like, is a faceless channel better than a like, a full visual channel? I would say that you could start out as a faceless channel, but you should evolve into a, because people like to connect with people. Like that's part of the
They do.
connection, is actually
They do.
seeing
It's
who
human
you
nature.
are.
Yeah.
And yeah, mine is the mystery, the mystique,
Mhm.
and the fact that they're like, let's try to get him to do something he doesn't want to do, and it's like, like, no, no way on earth, no way under
Come
heaven.
on the
That ain't
channel,
happening.
show your face. No, no, we
Yeah,
don't wanna do that. No.
I have had people go like, why don't you show your face? Because I don't have
Yeah.
to. Why
Right,
don't you
right.
walk out in front of cars? Because you don't have to, right? Like you don't like. Well, no,
That's
but
right.
to me, that's that, as terrifying as that seems, to go walk out in front of a car and have there be like fear associated with that. That's how I
Mhm.
kind of equate showing my face, and it's very challenging.
Yeah, yeah, it can be. And I'm curious how you have dealt with, like, negative comments on your channel or, like, people who I don't know if you share your email or what, or if people get a hold of you
I
somehow, but how
do,
you've
yes.
dealt with
Mm.
that.
I have shared my email, and that was a mistake, just based upon the nature of my of what I'm talking about, because I don't get flooded with negativity. I get flooded with individuals who are desperate for facts, truth. Like there's an honest emotional plea there. Of, please help me. I
Right.
can't, no, there's nobody out. All intelligent life is gone, except for you. Please help
Mhm.
me. And it's very like you have to have boundaries. And I can't, like, I have 400 emails in like a day.
Oh, wow.
Like, it's not
That's
playing.
insane.
Like, I had to shut down the email because of it. But um the negative comments, I am an altruistic person until something gets personal. Like, you can vent at me,
Mhm.
that's fine. That's the social worker in me. But if you come at me, I will hit back. If you want to say I'm wrong, I'll tell you how you're wrong. Like, and I'll prove it, right? Like, I'll go, here's the evidence, because it's a teachable moment. Some people do like to do character assassination. I don't much care about that. Uh, I did have the beefing with other content creators is a thing too. Like that can, sometimes somebody can not like you or not like what you say. And that
Right.
can also be a thing. And I had, there was this other uh, YouTuber equally sized to me, which doesn't matter. And them and I got into it one time, and he did a video and I did a video, and it seems to be done now because I don't want to have a fight with anybody. Nobody wins in that situation because
No.
my goal is to teach and train veterans, on the process, because I'm a one trick pony. I know how the process works, and that's it. You ask me anything else, how do you change the oil on your car? Nope. I mean, I know that stuff, but not enough to be like, have people care about it, right? Like,
Yeah,
you have a
yeah.
diverse set of skills and understandings. And I envy you on that because you can take your channel in so many different ways. I'm stuck.
Well,
with
that's something. I mean, I like that though, that you have that niche, right? You have
Yeah.
that specific niche. And what's tough about my channel is trying to figure out where it should go, because it started out as a military to civilian, documenting my retirement from the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
20 years and a month in. Here's what TRS didn't teach me. Here's what I wish I knew. Here's me
Yeah.
walking to the admin section, picking up my DD-214, kind of documenting all that stuff, right? To show people this is how it's done. This is what I didn't learn. This is what I wish I would have known.
Yeah.
But over time, it's kind of grown a little bit to something else. Then I started trying different things. If you don't try something, you'll never know if it works or not. I started
Yeah.
doing 5-minute Fridays, and that was cool. But it is very difficult to keep up to date on everything that's happening in the world, right? On legislation, on
Yeah.
news. So I constantly have different tabs open. I don't know about you, but I've got like 1,000
Oh.
tabs open, and
Yeah,
I
my
can't even
RAM is
see what the yeah, I can't even see what the logo is on these tabs because they're so small, right? Uh, so it's very hard. And I did military justice for 20 years, right? I stood in the well of a courtroom, advocating for the government and pushing, and doing investigations, death investigations, mishaps, and all that stuff. So very much involved in the world of the UCMJ. And I told myself when I retired, I'm not going to do law anymore. I don't want to look at this anymore.
Oh.
And then because it became overwhelming, but sure enough, I can't get off congress.gov to read this trash, so it's hard to keep up with everything. And that's when I took I don't know, you may not have remembered, but I took like a week off. It went like silent. I got emails from folks asking if I was okay. Right. And then thank you all for who sent those emails. But because I just went silent, I was like, I just needed to step away from this because it could burn out. It could burn you out. Curious how you work around that. Like, how much research, and do you ever get burned out from doing stuff on your channel?
I act like, okay, thumbnails upset me. So I'm not good at thumbnail. Like, okay, let's be honest
Yeah.
with ourselves. Okay. I'm good at one thing, and that's absorbing and regurgitating the M21, how the process works, things like that. So I'm cheating right now because I'm really good at that. I am not good at YouTube. I'm not good at doing thumbnails. I'm not good at marketing myself. I don't want to be, right? Like, I look around sometimes and I see some of the very, very large in our niche kind of thing, content creators, and I see a theme. Now, that's fine. They can do whatever they want. They're grown adults. That's how they can do it. I just don't want to go that way. And for me, it's kind of hard to explain, but I'm not good at the YouTube things, which makes it to where the information is the only thing that is currently pushing the channel up. That's it. So I'm really I started this in August. I'm not good at it, but I wish that I could be more diversified. I love the topic. I never get burnt out on it. Like, for me, it's like, oh yeah, by the way, this, and this. I get really excited about. Teaching is one of my passions. Like, I love to teach people. Being a VSR, I taught people. Being a raider, I've taught people. Like, being a social worker, I taught people. Like, it's one of the things that I enjoy doing. So this has never worked to me. Never at all. Like, I'm just going, hey, look, it's like I'm sharing with a friend. I'm like, hey, do you want to learn about this? And the part that's enriching about it is I get to share something that could make their life better. So I get a double whammy from that. I get the satisfaction of teaching, and I get the satisfaction of potentially improving somebody's life. I mean, evidence willing, like they have to have it there. It's not like, yeah, I'm going to claim for my amputated leg.
Thin
Okay,
air.
well, you got two, you got both legs right there, sir. They ain't gonna pass.
Yeah, can't do much about that.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. Interesting to know, man. Because I did want to see what, how that affected other channels. I don't have in-depth conversations with other folks in the sphere, right? The veteran sphere or anything like that. I've talked to, like the guy like the Civ Dev, or, I've had him on the channel on Military Retirement Podcast before. We've talked to him, talking to you now.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious how that affects folks, because that's, you don't get burned out off it. You love it. It's like talking to a friend, and very much is so for me as well. Very, like I mentioned, very therapeutic. But just the overload of information sometimes, is a big reason why I kind of shut myself off of social media. I took it off my phone because I just could not. I found myself, at my kid's baseball game, scrolling through that sometimes, trying to figure out what updates there were on, the new law that's passing or whatever, or things on Facebook. And at some point, I kind of had to press stop, just go cold turkey, just shut it off, because it's not good mentally, Plus all the news and all that stuff that gets mixed in there that everybody's always talking about. It's not healthy to be that concentrated on one thing. Now, I mean, for you it is, because you love that stuff, but I'm talking about like news and the constant flow of information. I cannot keep all that information up here too much.
I'll agree with that, and that's part of the reason why I've drawn that line. I've established that boundary that it is rare that you will ever hear me talk about legislation until it's been hard copy, approved. Because what I don't like is I don't like the roller coaster of speculation. The roller coaster of speculation where, oh, it could happen, oh, it could not happen, it could be, well, okay, let me know when it happens and let's talk about it then, type situation.
Because everything's clickbait.
It feels like it. It does. It feels, some people, it sounds like clickbait, but they actually bring the receipts. And that's fine. Like, I'm fine with that. But there's a game to the YouTube. Like, they're taking your money away. Like, those channels, they get a lot of views. Right? I know of one channel right now that is just the most dumpster fire information of, and I'm not going to mention them, of course. Because
no, we don't have to share.
But they're a dumpster fire of information where they don't actually say anything. They just say the person's opinion, and they're pretty charismatic, and they're growing faster than I am. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Because fear wins the day a lot of the time in this demographic. Because if you tell me that you're going to take away, hell, I'll even click on it sometimes and go, did I miss something? What's going on here? And then it's like, gotcha. I'm like, they got me again. Or the AI channels. Ugh.
Yeah. I completely understand about that, because I'll click on that as well. I'll click on these, oh, the VA's taking your money, this and that. And I'm wondering, okay, well, how's that work? There's going to be an uproar in the veteran community. So I'll click on it, and it just kind of goes on for 10, 20 minutes. And I'm like, all right, well, let's get to it. Where, just, and I understand that the longer you watch a channel, the longer you watch a video, the more YouTube will pay if you're monetized, things like that. It's just, a lot of those channels, I understand. I completely agree. They're kind of there for a reason, for the clicks.
Yeah. And they're always hunting for those clicks, and they'll do anything for those clicks. And it's like, that's why I call them entertainment channels. And that's not meant as a positive thing. It's a derogatory thing, in my opinion, is that they provide nothing more than pure, like going to a haunted house. Oh, I got scared. Oh, man. Oh, man, that was exciting.
Yeah.
The rants.
I remember you mentioned the entertainment channels. Like, for entertainment only. There's a reason why they call them entertainment channels. I remember you mentioned that.
Yeah, and it's like your channel provides very interesting things. Like I'm like, oh, I never even thought about that, you know. And I love things because I like to. I'm a child of learning. I love to learn. Like
Mhm.
I love to
Yeah.
keep growing as a person and stuff like that. And like your space A, or where is it? It's on my. Hold on, I got a tab for that on my thing.
Yeah. The
It's the
Space A
home
is which one?
EBR EBIE travels. That
Ebby Travels. Yeah.
Yeah, Ebby
That
Travels,
guy's
that's how
great.
you say it.
That
Yeah,
guy's
I
great,
watched
man.
that and I was like, "Wow," like, see, I don't that's where the humbleness comes back in, to be able to look at other people's content and just not go, "Oh, look at the peasant over there," like, it's like, "Oh, wow," like, no, some people do that.
Yeah. No,
I've had
I'm sure.
conversations.
I'm
Like,
sure. Yeah. No,
oh,
that's somebody had mentioned on here too. I think it was gosh, if I scroll up, I'll probably find it. Somebody had mentioned a space headed turkey, and it's kind of one of those things where if I'm curious about it, I'm sure other people are going to be curious about it too. And I had connected with this guy's an active duty Army captain,
mm,
and when he approached me about it, and actually I was using his service. It had like the 45 days free thing
oh,
because I
okay.
was looking at Space A, and I'm like, I like this. I just came across his site somehow. Like I
Mm,
dug in there. It was like not easy to find, but I came across it. I was like, oh, let me check this out. Then messaged the guy, and sure enough, he's like, dude, I built this whole thing from the ground up. It was like very algorithm heavy, but it pulls information from all the terminals and puts them on this website, and it updates every 20 minutes, and it'll give you access to or notifications from any terminal you want to any terminal that you want to go to, and just up to date information. And it'll send you emails, like daily emails if you want,
oh,
weekly.
wow.
And I'm like, dude, you really like broke the mold here, man. This is amazing. No longer do I need to go search for every terminal on Facebook and hope that they updated their stuff. This thing automatically updates it and sends me emails. So that's why I teamed up with the guy. He's like, yeah, I'd love to do a sponsorship and all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it's stuff like that. And I'm like, look, I I'm not asking him for money or anything. I'm like, look, if you want to do like an affiliate thing, I told him that's fine. I'll send people your way. But I really enjoyed the app. I've used it myself. Shit, I'll pay for it myself. It's just a matter of sharing the wealth that it's a great product. Why not get the word out?
Yeah, and that's something that whenever you become, like you're monetized, and even before you're monetized, if you have a specific
Mhm.
niche, you can do that. I've just, like a dummy, I've restricted myself from doing that because I just want a place where, for the most part, veterans can get an unbiased, like I don't have anybody pulling my strings, right?
Mhm.
Because,
Right.
like you said, you established it to where you have an equal kind of footing. Some people get into some of these kind of sponsorships where you have to say our thing 10 times in a month or something like that. You've got to really sell us. And it's like, I don't like that at all, personally. It's just my own personal opinion on my thing.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
mind if other people do it because they make money sometimes, like, and it's
Yeah.
like a lot of money.
Yeah. And it could work. And so I work with a
Yeah.
few places. And the thing is, I'm very selective on who I work with. I
Yeah.
I need to know. I will only work, at least right now. I will only work with veteran-owned and veteran-operated businesses. I need to kind of vet them and talk to them, and we go on a Google Meet and we discuss. Tell me about the lineage. Tell me about why you started it.
Yeah.
Like an hour-long conversation, right? Because I want to know that anybody who I'm talking to, who I'm going to be essentially putting my name out there for, is not,
Yeah.
going to scam the system or scam somebody else.
And that's a completely separate fear. But yeah,
Yeah.
and US Army Grunt says it right there, but I have openly tried to solicit coffee, like a coffee endorsement from a
Mhm.
veteran owned coffee company. Like that's my dream. Like not because I think it'll make me a millionaire or anything like that, but it's to impress my kids. It's kind of a shallow reason, but I just want to impress my
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
I'm a big time YouTuber. I'm a big deal. I'm not.
Dude, let me tell you a story here real quick. Something that impressed my kids as well. And for yours, it's coffee, right? you get a sponsorship for coffee, that's awesome. You
Yep.
can just shout out their name on the
Yep.
channel. It'll be great. And at one point, I was reached out to by it was random. It was a mattress company, and things didn't work out as well as I thought. So I won't put them out there, but it was a mattress company. They sent me over a king size mattress, and
What?
one day I walk up to my door and I see this huge box, kind of like those bed in a box things,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh well, what am I going to do with this now? I already have a king size mattress in my room. I'm like, I don't need another one. So what I ended up doing it was donating it to a nonprofit. They ended up giving it to this Marine sergeant who was having some kind of financial hardship. Cool stuff. However, that kind of sparked it in my kids' eyes, like, oh, dad's doing something. He
Yeah.
got a mattress. And so they're asking me, can you do a sponsorship with like Minecraft? Can you do a sponsorship with these electric scooters? I'm like, not everybody wants to do a sponsorship with a veteran channel,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
coffee
that's
might be one of them.
well, and it's just one of those things where I want to promote like a veteran organization. And it
Yeah.
doesn't really matter as long as it has nothing to do with the claims process to where I can keep my channel unbiased, right? So
Yeah.
I don't mind. Like I just pick coffee because I love coffee. It's like my thing.
Mhm.
But yeah, I do have to go here in probably 5 minutes. But
Yeah. Yeah.
there was one thing I wanted to like kind of put out there that there's a void of
Mhm.
in the YouTube community. It has to do
Yeah.
with vocational rehabilitation. I haven't, and maybe you have, but I haven't come across anybody that is really hitting that area of the content creation.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's something that you maybe want to, but if there's somebody out there that wants to do it, like that's an area where a lot of veterans can go, to because it matters, right? Like,
Yeah.
how do I maximize my vocational rehabilitation thing? Like, I don't know, but
Yeah. That's there is a void there. And I have been doing a lot of research on that.
mhm.
I did a video a while back on how to get approved for a college degree using VRD, Veterans
Mhm.
Readiness and Employment. And because what I've seen is a lot of folks, even on like Facebook groups and things like that, people are like, my counselor disapproved me, or I can't
Yeah.
get, it feels like an uphill battle. I can't get past this. And really, I kind of spell it out in that video. There's certain things that you have to show your counselor in order to get approved for that. You can't just say, "Hey, I want to do and get an MBA." It has
Yeah.
to show that you need it hinders your disabilities or your injuries while incurred in service, your service connected disabilities, and this will help you achieve a new career that you want to get into. And I spell it out very, very in depth in the video. But yeah, I have been looking at that because I read about it all the time. I just went through it today. I got an email, I got a text
Yeah.
from this university counselor. I'm going in to get my master's in human behavior psychology, and they're like, "Hey, can you start tonight? Like the first class is tonight." I'm like, "Whoa, hold on a second. I wasn't ready for
Yeah.
this. I have plans, and I'll can I start next month?"
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's folks like Navy Cop in the channel and in the chat who
Yeah.
has been trying to, but I think a lot of it is counselor dependent. You got to catch a counselor on a good day for them to actually give you the time of day to help you out. That's what I'm finding.
Yeah, you've also got to do like what do they call it? Not a cost benefit analysis, but like a growth potential for the job, for the career that you're going to. How many, what's the growth potential where you live for it? How,
Yeah.
Things like that. But it's just something because there's now a hiring push for VR and counselors. Like
Yeah.
if you go onto USA jobs or is it usajobs.gov? Yeah.
Yep.
If you go on there, there's like across the nation, they're doing a hiring blitz for that. And because they're doing a hiring blitz, they're going to be doing a, kind of a marketing thing to get veterans to utilize the service, because
Mhm.
veterans that are employed are less likely to use benefits or something. I don't know what the motivation is behind it, but anything to benefit veterans is a good thing. So why not, have the most up-to-date information on how to access it, how to market yourself in those
Right.
situations? Because a lot of people, they fall apart whenever it's time to say, this makes sense for you to send me to here, because within
Mhm.
the time constraints, like you'll give me 35 months or something like that. Within the time constraints, I can do this, this, and this is how much it makes, this is how much I make now, so clearly that's a thing. uh I'm I'd be successful in school, look, I completed this, this, and this, like, um it just, I don't know, it's kind of weird, kind of odd, but it's something that, I don't know.
Yeah, it's I find that veterans have a hard time selling themselves and asking for what they want, um, or at least explaining what they need,
Yeah.
right? And I think I got an email about it too, like openings at the VA or the VRNE or
Yes.
something like that.
Yep.
I
And
recently got an email about it, and I think VRNE counselors need to have a master's degree already, so they might be
correct.
pushing for you to get that or utilize that in order to get into the VRNE process.
Well, they want 300 or so, from what Navy Cop says down there. 300
Yep.
openings is what they're kind of going for to get counselors. But if you have 300 openings, you're going to have 300 caseloads that they need to fill.
That's right. I mean, they're already kind of underwater with the caseloads. And speaking to my
Yeah.
VRNE counselor, he's got like 150 cases under his belt right now. That's why it's taking him so long. So I think they need to spread it
Yeah.
out across the nation.
They do, but I mean, it's also going to be something to where if it becomes a focus, right? Because
Mm,
the hiring freeze is still there, except for needed jobs. So if that means that the VA itself is putting an emphasis on the need for those particular, like they're going to push, that is where that comes from. Like
yeah.
they're only hiring for things that they're going to push for. But somebody that's worked in the, well, back when it was Voc Rehab, like I have found it is the most beneficial program out there,
Hmm.
because I'm able to work, I'm able to do things with it. I love it, um,
Oh,
the social work aspect of it.
yeah. I'm
But
I'm all on board. I love VRNE, even though it took me a year to get into a class and to get started.
yeah,
Um, Probably one of the best benefits without having to use your GI Bill. And a big thing that people don't know about that I try to tell folks, they also give you a technology package. If you don't have a working laptop or something that can
yeah,
sustain the rigors of your, research or whatever you need the school for, the class for, they will give you that. A printer, a seat, a desk, all that stuff. That's a great deal
yeah.
in my book.
Yeah, I mean, it sets you up for success, and that's the best
It
thing,
does.
is that if you're going to try something, have the highest likelihood of getting the outcome that you desire. Obviously, you can't predict what the counselor is going to do, but once you get dialed into it, it's um, it can be life changing, just as life changing as getting disability benefits. Getting a career that you really want and that will
Mm.
benefit you and your family is, life changing. Is
Oh,
cliche, but
absolutely.
yeah, it is.
It can be, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. The big reason why I wanted to push for this VRD start ASAP is, again, nothing we've talked about this, nothing has been put in writing or anything like that. I just feel like a lot of these programs that this might be going away at some point, because it is a really good program.
Yeah.
And they may be asking, hey, instead of using VRNE, why don't you use the GI Bill, that you've earned? So I wanted to get my foot in the door, use that VRNE, complete my master's degree, and then, use it before they take it away potentially.
Yeah, and it's all up in the air. So get what you can when you can. Hungry, hungry
Oh,
hippos.
absolutely.
Just go.
100%,
Well,
man.
anyway, I do have to run, but it has been
Yeah,
great
yeah.
talking with you. We should do
Oh,
this more
you as
often.
well, man. Yeah, come on the channel. I know you don't like to share your email, but here, I'll
I
share
did.
mine.
No. I did.
Oh, you
I've
did? Here,
already,
let me check
like,
that.
remember, I did. Like, John is his name.
Oh, yeah. On the Military Retirement Podcast. That's right. So I will
Yes,
check that
I
out.
did. You guys never
And
got
I
back
will-
to me. You big meanie. Look at you.
Hold
Look
on
at
a
you.
second.
Look at
Hold
him.
on.
Look at how big
I'm
Vic
gonna have
is
to
here.
go.
Look,
I'm gonna have to go haze myself now, and let me
I'm
write
not
this
waiting for
down
your
so I
email.
don't forget. So yeah, I will email you back, man, and I will get you on the channel. We'll talk a little bit more about all of this, man. This is a great conversation. A lot of good dialogue, a lot of good feedback in the comments, man. I would love to get you back on here and just have like just talk. That'd be awesome.
Sounds good.
Awesome, brother. But great having you on, man. That was Raider HQ. Let me change this up here really quick. Yeah, good information. Let me go to the comments real quick because I missed a whole lot of these comments, but we're having some good conversation, and when the conversation flows, it's all good. Let me see here. Go to these comments real quick. Going up. Yeah, all right. U.S. Army Grunt says Raider HQ needs a coffee company to sponsor his channel like Black Rifle Coffee Company. That is some good coffee. 100%. 100%. Yeah, I love me some coffee too. Let's get it on Raider HQ's radar. 616 Love. I'm on my third cup of black coffee right now. Man, I'd be jumping off the walls if I had my third cup of coffee. Yesterday when I did an interview, I drove over to this place called Solana Beach. Did an interview with this gentleman who's making some waves in the VA or the VFW sector. And I drank a cup of coffee that morning, got in the car. I got my, I think it was called some little Japanese coffee that I buy from the Japanese shop. Then when I got there, the guy had an espresso for me. So I was just wired, heart palpitations and everything. Oh, man. Hold on a second. U.S. Army Grunt, you may not believe me, but I drink 12 to 14. What? Oh, shit. Wait, sir, I'm going to need you to make an appointment at the VA and get checked out, please. That's a lot of coffee, man. Holy crap. Well, let's see. It says, my doctor keeps telling me to drink more water, but I remind him that coffee is made with water. Well, I mean, you're not wrong there. Throw a couple of beans in there and you're good to go. I mean, I thought I drank a lot of coffee, but I limit myself at like 2 cups. Now I do. I used to drink about 3 or 4 back when I was in uniform. All day you'd see me with my coffee mug going around the unit, just, hey, what's going on? And I figured, this is what Chief Warrant Officers do. They just kind of go around and just walk around their mug, Let me see. Ronan Bruv, hey, it says, Raider, I'm about to start documenting my VRNE journey to start my next YouTube channel. Because I can't find much on it. Hey, dude, let's talk. Let's talk, because I love VRNE. I could talk about that trash all day. If you want to jump on the channel, let me know. Actually, here, I'll share this here. Jump on the live stream. Let's talk about VRNE real quick. I know the channel was initially for starting a YouTube and podcasting channel, but if you're looking to start a VRNE channel, that'd be amazing. I talk a little bit about it on my channel, and simply because I love the thing. Yeah, I saw that video. It was great info about VRNE benefits. Excellent. Yeah. The great thing about VRNE, you don't have to use a GI Bill. You don't have to. You can save that for your kids or whoever, your spouse, whoever it is, or potentially down the road if you want to get another degree. VRNE allows you to use or at least if you go to college for it, right, allows you to use your benefits to get a bachelor's, potentially get a master's degree, to get E5 with dependents BAH as long as it's considered full-time. Now you can find a hybrid school, a hybrid curriculum, and potentially go be in class once every 2 weeks, and that will suffice for the full time, according to the VA. So you hit that, you get the full BAH rate. They pay for your school. You get the technology package. That means a laptop. That means potentially a printer, desk, chair, whatever you need in order for you to succeed in college. So it's a very, very good benefit that a lot of folks don't take advantage of enough. Let me see here, going down the comments here. Well, perspective, my counselor is swamped. Yeah, we're talking about VRD counselors and how they're hiring a lot now. The counselors are swamped. Mine, for instance, mentioned to me that they are working with about 150 folks. And so they have to kind of give them to other counselors across the nation, right? So I started out, I think my counselor was from a different state, and then they transferred me to another counselor closer to where I live. So, they are swamped, and good thing that they're going to be hiring folks too to take care of this. Veterans Daily covered VRE, but Jason says the same, that it depends on who you get and when. Yeah, it is. Veterans Daily. I got to check that one out. I think I've seen that one. Yeah, it really depends on who you get. It really does, because damn it. I mean, when I tell you, I talk to a lot of people about this. I really do, about VRE. My counselor is responsive on the emails. It might take them a day or two, whatever, but responsive. And I'm thankful for that. But then I see folks who are constantly getting denied for, their degrees or their schools and things like that. And I wonder, like, why? And that prompted me. That's the reason why I created that video. Here, we got Ronan on the line here real quick. Ronan, what's going on, man? Good to have you.
Chief, how you doing?
Hey, doing well, man. Woke up this morning. I feel good about it.
God bless, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're looking to start a VRE channel, dude. Tell me about that.
So, I mean, I'm not a stranger to the YouTube world, or like I've had channels before. I've got a podcast that I kind of go in and out of right now. But I've kind of taken a break from all that because for the last few years, life has kind of gone sideways, right? And kind of like short backstory. I was in tech after service, 23 years, cybersecurity, software manufacturing, all that.
Sure.
And COVID hit, that industry kind of just flipped on its head. Since then, I've been one layoff after another. So I decided to just kind of back away completely from that industry and just rely on my savings, right? I'm like, okay, I just got to figure something out.
Sure.
Well, during that time, I started going through the CMP process of kind of like the health issues and everything else, the VA. And finally, like, my psychiatrist was like, dude, if you have all these plans about starting your own business and kind of moving away from corporate America, do you know what VRE is? I was like, never heard of it, And he was like, well, I'm going to put a referral in. So started digging into it. And every time I jump on YouTube, try to find something on it. I mean, there's people talking about stuff here and there, and I haven't seen your video on it yet. But there was nothing kind of like concrete, like how to start, like what to do, where to go, right? What's the first meeting going to be like? How should you prepare for it? So I figured, hey, like, I was watching the Salty Old Marine, and he was like, everyone should start a channel. I'm like, yeah, I should start another channel, since especially now because I'm more kind of on the veteran focus side of things. So why not? And I'm like, why not just kind of start from even before day one? Like, my first VRE appointment is not for another month. So I figured I should start right now, kind of how I'm going to prepare for it, whether it's the right way, and what that outcome is going to be from that first meeting to, approval, denial, whatnot, and how do you go back if it's denied, or if it's approved, what are the next steps and things of that nature. So there's a very clear picture for anyone out there looking to take advantage of that program, that here's how you start, here's how you prep, and here's where you go from there.
Yeah, so I think it would be a great niche, man. Especially if you document it from the beginning, right? here's where I started. Here's where what I'm submitting. Here's what my counselor has sent back to me. Um, because people don't know.
Right.
And you're gonna get a ton of views with that, dude. People simply don't know, and they want to know. They want the information, and they want. I find authenticity in seeing somebody who's actually doing it on their own, going through the process on their own, and I'm kind of following along with them. You know, I find that is a very authentic thing. Instead of having somebody up there with a PowerPoint or something like, "Hey, um, here's what you do. Here's blah 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 blah," and I say that, but I've done that same exact thing. I find authenticity in like, "Hey, come with me on this kind of journey. Let's do it together. You know, let's submit this stuff. Let's see what the counselor has to say. You might have received this. You might have received that. Let's go through it together. And it's a hurdle, but it doesn't mean you're done.
Right.
Let's appeal to this." Yeah, I like that, man.
Yeah, exactly. And
That's excellent.
I think, I mean, I'm definitely going to, because one, I mean, I've studied kind of like film and photography as an amateur a long time. So I love documenting things.
Mhm.
I love stories, especially stories of folks like us. Like, I don't know if you caught the Salty Marines last video with this whole about him ranting about uh veterans hiring preference.
No, I didn't see it. No.
It's not
What
a
do you
thing.
have to say?
As far as I'm concerned, it's not a thing. Like,
Mhm.
every time I apply, I've probably applied for over 1,000 jobs in the last 5.
Yeah.
You know, they always ask you, like, are you a veteran? Are you a disabled veteran? Et cetera, et cetera. Not one time has that ever been, has it led to anything. No matter how many times they say, hey, we're veteran friendly and whatnot, ever. And I'm like, look at my resume. Like, my resume is literally military, tech, cybersecurity. And I have all the experience in the world for it. I've worked for Israeli cyber intelligence. I've worked for Russian cyber intelligence. I've worked for American cyber intelligence on the manufacturing and sales side, right? But once that kind of tech, industry kind of dipped, they don't care. Like, not a single person was like, oh, you're a veteran? Let me talk to you. Like, despite the fact that you have working knowledge of how this stuff works.
Now, do you mean like in the federal government, like state or
Private, like, yeah, like corporate,
private? Okay.
right? Like,
Okay.
any of these companies, like, I've worked for Adobe, I've worked for Google, I've worked for Microsoft, I've worked for Kaspersky, I've worked for Deep Learning, like
Mhm.
CrowdStrike, big names,
Yeah.
You would think that would, and I have, like, in the past, I've been able to find work just based on my Rolodex alone, right? They're like, oh, you know this and this people? All right, you're hired. Like,
Yeah.
we be able to bring those connections. And now it's like nothing. And when I was watching that Salty Marines video, I was like, man, that's exactly what's happening to me. Like, no matter, I'll submit a resume, a cover letter, a business plan, and they'll just go, hey, this is great, we'll call you. Nothing. And I'm like, that's weird. 6 years, like almost 5-6 years, not one callback. And the ones that have, like, where I have gotten an opportunity to kind of say, okay, let's go through the interview process. I don't think that being a veteran has ever played a role in that. It was more just like, okay, you've got the experience, you've got the knowledge, you've got the contacts. Because even now, like, I have friends who are in the industry who are like, hey, bro, have you thought about coming back? Like, there's this role open, and I'm just like, no, because I think it's more of a hindrance for them to see that I was a veteran, but I am a veteran versus not. Like, I'd rather
Yeah.
not.
And that's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah.
That's what I might see that as I wrote that exact same thing down as you were mentioning it is, does being a veteran or, applying with veterans preference actually hurt your chances? Or even like when you see on the applications, do you have a disability or something, or are you not do you have a disability, because they can't ask that. Do you claim this type of veteran or
Right.
something like that?
Exactly.
And I wonder if that kind of hurts the chances. So I can only speak to the perspective as a federal employee, right? So I was a GS-13 supervisor, and we got people who were applying to the jobs, maybe like GS-7s, GS-5s, and applying to positions, and HR would brief us on that, veterans preference and this and that, and then we'd conduct the interviews, and as far as the federal side, yes, I think that does matter. That gives you the leg up, I think, on the resume side. The private sector, I don't know. I'd have to do some digging. I'd be curious about that, if that actually hinders your chances. Because I mean, yes, disabilities and all that stuff. That looks good, I guess, for like the diversity of it. But how far will it take you?
Right. And I mean, I think the only time it makes, like, you see like Amazon, right? It's like, oh, we're veteran friendly. They hire a lot of veterans. But I feel like any time they see a veteran that's not to be serious, they want to hire like the grunts, right? They want to hire like the guys who they can say, hey, we're just going to pay you like $16 an hour. You're going to go work in the warehouse. We hired veterans. Like,
Yeah.
you go, hey, no,
The manual labor type jobs.
right, exactly, right?
Yeah.
You're applying for any kind of a white collar, C-level kind of a job, and they're just like, it's more of a, what do you call it? Like a boys network, like
Yeah, the good old boys. Yeah.
the good old boys, right? Like, hey, yeah, no, I know this guy or this guy's kid that's going to take that job, and yeah, you're a veteran, great, thank you, but no. But at least that's how, that's what I'm seeing, especially when I do look at job numbers. Like just the other day, I was looking there and they were like, oh yeah, all these companies are hiring so many veterans. The one good thing is there really isn't a disparity between veterans and non-veterans as far as kind of like unemployment, right?
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. So like, contrary to popular belief, not all of us are unemployed and homeless and trying to, live off the teat of the system.
Mm-hmm.
And like you and everybody else, we are trying, like, we want to be able to have access to these programs so where we can make our lives better. Hey, I can't find a job in tech anymore. Okay, there's a program that helps me kind of learn something else and go in a different direction. Even at this late age in my life, I'm going to do that. I'm not going to sit on my ass, right? And unfortunately, the stigma is the opposite, right? Like, we're all just like mooching off the system and shit.
Well, no, I mean, those are specifically like VRNE, right? They're programs put in place to help, not just help your situation out, but they're there for the veteran. And why not use those if those benefits are there? I'm of the firm belief that if those those benefits are not used, we're going to lose them, because there's going to be some reporting involved. Why are we continuing this program if nobody's using it, right? And so in that case, VRNE, I think, is important. Everybody should be jumping on this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I firmly believe, and I am kind of taken aback sometimes when I mention it to somebody. They're like, "What's that?" I'm like, "Dude, how much time do you have? Sit down with me really quick. Let me just give you a quick 5-minute rundown on how this. You don't have to touch your GI Bill, even if you got a day left on your GI Bill, man. Use this VRNE. I think it's a day or a month, might be a day. So even if you have a day left on your GI Bill, you qualify for the VRNE." And they're like, "Whoa, what? I didn't know that." I'm like, "Well, now you do. Go out and do great things, man, because this is there for you. If you don't use it, you're going to lose it."
Right.
And I don't know why I got that feeling that they're looking, costs are getting cut all over the place. And VRNE, nothing's set in stone. Nothing has been written about it. I just got this feeling, like this feeling behind and itch on the back of my neck.
Yeah,
Something might happen with this.
Exactly. And I think more of us do need to kind of take advantage of that, so they see that, hey, it's a worthwhile program. Like I said, I didn't know anything about it up until about a month and a half ago. I still don't know.
Yeah.
But from what I understand right now is, yeah, it can literally kind of help you kick off an entire new career if you've got your ducks in a row. And that's even a better program than, hey, being compensated for my disabilities. Like, hey, that's great. You want to give me a few grand a month. But in this day and age, no one is surviving off of that. Nobody.
Mm.
So if I can still work gainfully and retrain or learn a new skill, whether it's going to a trade school if I'm physically able to learn a new trade, or if it's a degree that I need to be able to find a specific job, or start my own business, and just learn, small business management and whatnot. That's awesome. Like, that helps me set up not just me being able to look after myself, but if I have a family, leave something behind for them as well, right? Like,
Yeah.
hey, put money away, or I'm starting a business. Hey, kids, we're gonna get into it. You're gonna learn this business if you want, and whenever it's time for me to go, when I'm gone, it's yours. Like, there's something there for, there's
Oh, absolutely.
right, ground zero. It's there.
Yeah.
Where I went to college for 4 years. I can't find a job, or I can't find a job in my field, and I'm starting at 30 grand a year. Like, in 2025, let's face it, a family of five, like, and I have no problem disclosing. I'm a family of five. I used to make, my base salary was $250K a year plus commission, right?
Mhm.
Sales commission. That was still not enough, because when you have 3 kids and you got to put them through school and high school and college, you're like, that averages to about 50 grand a person a year minus taxes. You're still kind of at that, hey, I'm just living life. I'm not taking fancy vacations. I don't have a sports car, God, or anything like that,
Right. Right.
So, yeah, like, I don't know what they think that we're doing with all this disability money, but it's not enough to do anything except to, like, keep the lights on.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, question for you, man, is do you have a name for the channel yet, or has it been established yet?
I was just thinking about it this morning. I think I'm going to call it Rifleman Dodd. And
Rifleman Dodd.
that book.
Yeah. Required reading.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Yes.
I was about it. I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll call it Rifleman Dodd, and we'll just start it from there.
I like that. That's good. That's good. When's that going to go live?
So I'm just, like, waiting to get a hold of some equipment. Like, I've got the microphone, I've got the computer. I just don't have a camera that's, I feel, good enough yet for me to be able to start recording with. So I'm waiting to get a hold of one of those, and that's probably going to happen within the next 2 weeks. And then we're going to kick off, and I might record a lot of this stuff on my phone too, because as of Monday, I plan to start building a business plan and kind of even, like, tweaking my resume, so when I go into that first interview with the VRE counselor, that everything is there. Like, hey, this is where I was at. This is where I'm at now. This is where I'd like to be. Like, I want to go. Like, for me, I think it's going to be, I'm 99% sure I want to get into film school and learn independent film officially, because not only that's has always been an interest of mine, but I also want to be able to tell, like I said, I like telling stories. I want to be able to tell stories. Like, I live right across the street, 5 minutes from Great Lakes Naval. There are so many stories to tell between the veterans at the VA, the kids going through Great Lakes, right? And, like, if you, anybody like yourself, myself, or any other veteran creator, content creator, there's not enough of us telling our story. Someone else is always telling our narrative.
Yeah.
Get out there, the better it is. So, at least, and especially for, like, veterans from different backgrounds, like, there's not enough voices of female veterans out there, or the stories of, or the things that they face during service or after service, or kind of like, or even the families of, like, I'm on a bunch of these Facebook pages that help, people are getting information about like going through the CMP process and via disability. There's so many spouses that are like, hey, I'm doing this stuff for my husband. I just don't get it. It's so difficult,
Yeah.
and you're like, man, like, yeah, like, who would have even thought that the veteran is not able to do it themselves and their spouses are the ones doing all this for them? And how difficult of a journey is that? What they don't even understand even 1% of that system that we did when we were in the service, right? Or we know the bureaucracy of how things work in the government versus they do.
Yeah, it's good. It's definitely good information to get out there, man. And I think you're going to be doing a good service with it. People want to see it. I
Yeah.
mean, just reading the comments here. I mean, from like Jason Miyamoto. So he was denied via VRNE. So since denied, what are my options? He's asking. Folks are mentioning apply again. It's and that's probably what I would do as well. Because where is it? Trying to find his comment here. Oh, here goes. Reason why I was denied was counselor said I was because I was still able to do my old job. So the question I would have for Jason Miyamoto is, does your old job hinder your service connected disabilities? And that's something that the counselors need to take into consideration when you ask them, when you apply. That's really a reason why VRNE exists. If your old job, it can't just be something, oh, I'm bored of it. It physically, like if you are, I don't know, a person at Lowe's that puts boxes up and you can't do it anymore because your lower back injuries are being, they're bothering you now. Hey, you need to find another job. And you may not, hey, I want to go into social work, yet I don't qualify for social work because I don't have that degree. Well, let's get you that degree, so that's part of the reason you have to show that your job hinders your abilities somehow, or your mental disabilities, or whatever the case may be, physical disabilities. That's one of the things that the counselors look at, from what I found from speaking to a few of them. But yeah, man, I think, Ronan, man, I think you're going to be doing some good stuff, and I'm looking forward to Rifleman Dodd coming out, and then you setting up your studio, talking about it, all the lighting, all that good stuff, and your new camera and all that. But don't get bogged down by all the gear, man, because you as well. I mean, you're a documentary guy, photo guy, so you probably know about gas and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Gear acquisition syndrome, and I've had it myself.
Oh, I
just gotta click record.
And I apologize for the birds in the background. I know they're obnoxiously loud, but yeah, like I literally, like I've been through every platform as far as film and photography gear, starting from back in the 80s, like 110 film cameras, all the way till the new Sony stuff, the top of the line stuff. I've been through it all, but unfortunately, because of circumstances, I had to kind of get rid of everything. And the one thing that I did learn, kind of getting rid of all that, was like I could still create, because it's not about the equipment, right? It's about the story. It's about the story. So yeah, I don't want to get bogged down, but I still want to produce somewhat quality level of a product. Yeah. And I might document that as well, because I want other veterans to start channels as well. So I want them to realize it's not that hard. It isn't. If you have a voice and you feel like that voice needs to be heard, and don't let, like, I don't have any money, or I don't have any experience, or like stop you. Like Save Dib was gonna help out Jackie, right? He offered that to her. Anybody else, like, hey, you did it, I'm doing it, I've done it multiple times, like, but maybe we should start filming it and show you, instead of, not like the influencers who are like, hey, this is how you start a YouTube channel and gain all these views. No, this is how you start a YouTube channel as a veteran, and if nothing else, it could be therapeutic for you.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, hey, I just want to create a community of some people that know what I go through, and I want to be able to kind of have a back and forth with them. just like how you're doing right now. Like it's a midday, it's like 12, 15 people here hanging out.
Mhm.
It's not a big thing, but it's to people
It's
like
just enough. Yeah.
it's a lot. Because I'm like, sometimes I just want, well, not sometimes, a lot of the times, I know only guys like you and the guys like, and folks in the chat understand what I'm going through or what I'm feeling, and nobody else. Like, I can't explain it. I can't talk to them. We just know. Like, all right. Like today, I went through a CMP exam. Like, like at first, like the nurse was like, "Do you even know what you're claiming? Do you know what that means?" And I'm like, "I'm not an, like
Right.
I'm like, that's," and she's like, "Well, no, you don't." And I'm like, "All right." But then later on, like when I told her, I'm like, "No, I get it. Like there's a difference between ankylosing and ankylosis. I have ankylosing, not ankylosis." And she's like, "Oh, okay. I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, I read the file.
Right.
And I looked through it, and
Yeah.
that's lame. But so then she was like, "Okay, cool." So like, yeah, like who else knows? Who else can cope with that? Like who else can kind of know what that experience is like besides us here, right? So yeah, like I want to make sure I want to be at least able to do my part now that I'm like so back into the after 25 years, just kind of like putting the whole I'm a veteran thing aside and kind of getting back into this side of things. It's been eye-opening to see how many folks my age, our age, or I might be older than you, are just out there who are kind of like, and I'm sure like you said you were on the law side.
Mhm.
Like when I left the Marine Corps, literally my gunny gave me my papers and was like, "Good luck, man."
That's
And
it.
I walked out of my Quonset hut, got into my car, and drove off the base and was like, "Now what?"
Yeah. What do you do now? Yeah.
So, we've all been there, and I feel like the more of us that can do something to help people, whether it's start a channel or guide them to a service that they need, we should. And so, yeah, so I appreciate it. Thank you for having
No,
me.
absolutely. Absolutely, man. And I love the message too, man. You each one teach one, as they
Right.
used to say. Each one teach one. And I may be knowledgeable, you may be knowledgeable on something, and we need to share the wealth with the
Exactly.
community. Yeah. It works, man. I love it.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, keep me posted on that, man. Let me know when you start the channel. And we got Navy Cop up here who runs buddycheckproject.org. And he says, keep us posted. I'll add you to the site for visibility. So
Excellent.
it's a good website with a lot of veteran resources on there.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Absolutely, man.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for sharing.
Appreciate you.
All right, buddy.
Yeah.
Good
Bye.
having you. Yeah, that was Ronan. He's starting his channel on VRNE, a lesser known. Well, now it's becoming more known, but one of the more lesser known benefits that pays out a lot, not just in money, but also in what you get back from it. You get an education, or you get a trade, you get potentially a job after that, because that's what it's built for, is to get you into a job, into something that you want to do, where you will flourish, where you will succeed. And VRNE is doing it. Not only do they pay for all that, the training, but they also give you that basic allowance for housing. Well, they call it something else, like monthly housing allowance, as long as you're going to school. Like if you get approved for the school program to get your bachelor's or master's, they will give you monthly housing allowance equivalent to E5 BAH with dependents. And depending where you live, that could be a pretty large amount, So, um, let's see here. Tony Slaughter says that's because the Marines do not care about their personnel unless they can do something for them. Well, I don't know. I mean, I had a lot of care for my folks when I was in. It all depends on who you talk to, right? They're in all services, all ranks. And Tony Slaughter, to answer your question, man, that you had asked, somewhere up here, I cannot find it. Somewhere up there, you asked, should I start a YouTube channel? And here we go. should I do a YouTube channel? Yes. My sincere answer is you should. You should, simply because I believe that you, my friend, have a story to tell, and you don't have to put your face on it. You can do kind of like what Radar HQ does, and just do it a voice only, audio only. But it could be a podcast, YouTube channel. But I believe every veteran has a story to tell, and it definitely does feel kind of therapeutic as well when you actually do that and get the story told, connect with other folks who may be having the same experiences. It definitely does just help out, I found. Kahana 10, welcome. Hello from PHX Phoenix. Is that Phoenix? Let me see. I like our U.S. Army grunt coming with the facts. I love coffee. Yes, so do I. Anyone ever drink 3 trentas? I don't know what that is. Never heard of it. 3, like treintas, like 30 in Spanish? Treintas. Let me see here. Mo Perspective says, Vic, I think you may be onto something regarding the benefit could go away. I got a letter today that said half my time monthly school benefit went from $850 to $530 a month. Wow. I'd be curious to find out about that. I know that in some areas, the basic allowance for housing went down in some areas across the nation. Folks were kind of pissed off about that when I was reading. I was looking for it when I was getting ready to start school, and I was kind of checking out the websites to see what the BAH was in my area. Found out that it went down a significant amount. Well, not really. It went down just under $100 a month, which is weird, right? Because everything else is going up. BAH rate went down for some reason. But I'd be curious about that. I have not seen anything in writing about it. This is just me. This is just me thinking ahead from what I read, from what I'm exposed to, from what I see on the news, how, there's a desire to cut programs. As you all know, I've shared it on the channel before. I was a federal employee, GS-13, and was let go twice, not because of my performance, but simply because Doge. So that it is what it is. However, government's looking to cut programs, get funding from different places, and VRE, I don't know if it'll go away. I don't know what, but it could very well be on the chopping block. This is just me thinking ahead. Nothing in writing right now. I'm going to look into hybrid classes. Yes, definitely look into hybrid classes. My class right now, I only have to go into a physical classroom twice, and I get that BAH benefit, that full-time benefit. So very good stuff. Let's go down here real quick. Yeah, Jason McCullough, Mac McCullough says, preach it, Ronan. I left the Marines with no guidance. A lot of people don't, and I feel like a lot of the guidance that I've received, even when I retired 2 years ago, was off of like YouTube stuff. I would not have known what I know about leaving the service if I didn't, figure it out myself, and 2, I know what I just did there, and 2, if I didn't connect and watch these videos on people who have been doing it. And the way I see paying it forward is to create content to pay it forward. Let's see. I believe you talk about VRD. Don't know much about it. Seems all I've heard is vets with horror stories about the program. There are a lot of horror stories about VRD. I'll be honest, and it's because it's not really understood. And also, it's a lot of the counselors within the VRD realm, it doesn't seem like everything's standardized in VRD. It seems like different counselors do different things, have different standards. I don't know. But I mean, yes, there is a reference for it. I forgot the name of the CFR, chapter 31, I think. But I don't know that they all follow that. I think it could be misinterpreted. I don't know. But I find that different counselors have different mindsets about who gets approved for what, and it's kind of all over the place. So that's why I kind of make that video about getting your foot to door with a college degree. If you're looking for a college degree through VRD, here's exactly how I did mine. Could potentially work for you as well. Here's what I said. Here's what I put in writing. Here's how I justified all of that. And that's how potentially it could work out for you. Again, your mileage may vary, but that's what worked out for me. Hello, Mr. I clicked on, I put you on the screen without reading your screen name. Freaking puffy nipples. Hello. Let me see, 30 ounce. Oh, 30. 30. Okay. Like an Italian 30. 30 ounce at Starbucks. Okay. See, it's too much for me. Puffy Nipples asks if I like cuchillos, which is knife. I have several knives, yes. I have collected them in the past. I have them here, anywhere from chef's knives to whatever other, like survival knives and things like that. Yes, I do. Thank you for asking. So with that, this is why you should start a YouTube channel in 2026, for the connection, for the teaching aspect of it, learning yourself, walking other people through it, building that camaraderie. This serves as a way, as a sort of therapy. You know, I find it does. The bad parts of it are that you do get some negative comments sometimes. So you have to work through that. Understand that they don't know you. They don't know you. So just put that out of your mind and go forward. Move on. It's not that bad. With that, I do want to share this new sponsor that I got for the channel. Pretty cool stuff. And it's one thing that I wish I had done when I was going to retire. And I didn't think about it until after the fact, but it is life insurance. You know, I'm not a life insurance agent, but I know people in high places that are, and wanted to give this organization a shout out, American Fidelity Life Insurance. Okay. They are founded by veterans, have been focused on serving the needs of veterans for 70 years, DoD approved and endorsed by the VA. I didn't realize that I needed life insurance. I thought SGLI would suffice. And then I didn't know that you can also like roll that stuff over. These folks do that stuff all the time. So shout out to them. You know, if you're about to leave the service, you may want to look at life insurance, because it just, once you do your VA disability, the amounts will shoot up. So shout out to American Fidelity Life Insurance. Check them out. They're one of the trusted sponsors for the Green Logbook YouTube channel. With that, thank you all for stopping by. It's been about 2 hours that I've been on live stream, and my eyes are about to start bleeding from staring at the screen. But it's been awesome hanging out and talking about YouTube and podcasting. If anybody wants to talk more about it, I can talk about that stuff all day, because I love this stuff. I love connecting with veterans. I love connecting with the community, building up the tribe, talking to other channels. Like we just had Raider HQ on the live stream. That was cool. Any other channels I want to jump on, I'm all game for it. Shoot me an email, thegreenlogbook@gmail.com, and I will answer back. With that, this has been the Green Logbook. Make sure you like and subscribe. All right.